What up, people? This is your man RTP Skull Gang in the building. You already know what it is. Sorry. Before I start this video, I just want to say shout out to J-Dub, Joshua DeBolly, I don't know. J-Dub, he is a Panther fan. I'm sorry I didn't respond to you. I don't think I respond to you. I never really watched your videos. I had you subscribed, and I never really watched your videos. I kind of, let's just say I misjudged you off the back. Let's just say that. But I watched your video because I was really urging to see some vids made about the game that we had. Other Buck fans. So I watched it. Great crow, one of the best crows that I've ever had. Mad respect. Shout out to you guys. To you. There's not many Panther fans making videos anymore. So if you guys haven't, go subscribe to that guy, J-Dub. Yeah. Let's get to this video. Sorry. Let's get to this video. Buccaneers and the playoffs. After last night, the doors have been opened. The doors have been opened. Eagles beat the Redskins, making the playoff hunt like this. 6 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins. Wild card spot in the hunt. We are in the hunt. And officially, the doors are officially opened. I didn't want to say, I know I've been hinting and saying little things about the playoffs, but I didn't really want to get into it because I don't like getting my hopes up. Right now, in the wild card spot are the Seattle Seahawks with 6 wins. I believe the Vikings are in the wild card spot with 6 wins. No, I'm sorry. The Seattle Seahawks is in the wild card spot with 7 wins. The Vikings are in the wild card spot with 6 wins. And you know, they got 5 losses and a tie, which is why they're ahead of everybody else. They got 6 wins. There is also the Redskins that got 6 wins. There are the Eagles that got 6 wins. And there are the Panthers that have 6 wins. And we're right there at the end with 5 wins. Every team, I've already come to the conclusion that Seattle is going to get a wild card spot. I looked at everybody's schedule. Seattle's schedule is probably the easiest because of the division they're in. They're most likely going to take a wild card spot. They're up by two wins already. Plus, they have a pretty easy schedule at the very end. The last 2 games is pretty much 2 wins for them. So they're going to get at least 9 wins. At least. So they're making the playoffs. They're in the wild card spot. So that leaves only 1 wild card spot left for us. And that 1 wild card spot, every team that's ahead of us is only ahead of us by 1 game. The Redskins are done. They're too hurt. Any team that they play, they have a chance of losing. I think they're done. I don't think they're going to make the wild card spot. You have the Eagles who are ahead of us with 6 wins. I don't think they're going to make the wild card spot either. They got next week, they got the Dallas Cowboys. They have the Rams. They have the Texans. They got a lot of good teams, and I don't think the Eagles are a good team. They're not a good team. A lot of those Eagle fans, for some reason, think this is last year. It's definitely not last year. The plays that Carson Wentz is doing they look a lot harder than how they were looking last year. Everything that the Eagles did offensively looked very easy last year. This year, it is just looking so hard for them to move the ball against the. Uh, this is so hard. It looks hard this year. Their defense looks the same. Doesn't look that good. Um, so I think they lose. I think they lose to the Cowboys. I think they lose to the Rams. I think they're gonna lose to the Texans. That's 3 more losses for them. And then they play the Redskins again. I think they beat the Redskins again. Um, so I see them getting out of there. Um, Next is the Vikings. We got the Vikings play Seattle this week. The Vikings then have the Dolphins, who I think they could lose to the Dolphins. Dolphins have a pretty good defense. I think it'll be I'm not saying they're going to lose to the Dolphins. I just think it's a good matchup. So they could lose to the Dolphins. The Vikings also still have to play the Bears. So I can see 2, maybe even 3 losses for the Vikings. So it's possible. Who else is there? That's Redskins, the Vikings, Eagles. Who else? I think there's another team in the way. There's one more team in the way. Trying to think. Redskins, Vikings, Eagles. Who's that other team? Is there one more team in the way? Who else got? Oh, Panthers. Panthers, of course. The Panthers. Panthers schedule. They still have to. Yes, I remembered. They still have to play the Saints 2 times. I believe they still have to play the Falcons. So, yes, the Panthers have a very hard schedule. They play the Browns next week. This week coming up, they play the Browns. Then they play the Saints. Then I believe they play the Falcons, and then they play the Saints again. That's a very hard 4-game stretch right there. I don't think they might not win another game the rest of the season. If they do, it could be the Browns. They could win the Browns. I think they could win the Falcons. Will they win the Browns? I don't know. I think the most likely team that they could win is the Falcons. I don't really think they're going to beat the Browns. To be honest, I really don't think they're going to beat the Browns. But it really depends on Baker Mayfield. It really depends on Baker Mayfield if they win the Browns or not. Because that defense is going to be there. It really depends on if Baker Mayfield gives their team a chance to win. I think they get swept by the Saints. I don't think the Saints are going to lose to them once. So with that said, it leaves the Bucs. The Bucs don't have an easy schedule either. We have the Saints, then we have the Ravens, then we have the Cowboys, then we have the Falcons at the end. This whole time when, I've been hinting these last 2 weeks when I've been hinting like, yo, we're not far off when it comes to the playoffs. This last week that just happened, every team we needed to lose lost. Every team we needed to lose lost this week that just happened. I didn't want to talk about the playoffs because it's still a dream. Don't get me wrong. It's still a dream. But it's a little bit more realistic now. We're only 1 game. We got 4 games to go. We're only 1 game behind. Only 1 game behind. All these teams got a lot of hard teams to play next coming up. The only real team that doesn't have a lot of hard teams to play is the Redskins, and they're just hurt with injuries. So they've come down because of their injuries. When I first started thinking about the playoffs, which I was trying to stop myself from doing, I figured basically, okay, we're probably going to lose against the Saints. Can we afford to lose 1 game? If we lose 1 game, we're going to need a lot of help. We're going to need a lot of help. And more than 1 week. Now that we're here, because at first I'm like, yo, first we got to take care of business with the Panthers. That's not going to be an easy win. That's not we got that in the bag. You know what I'm saying? First we got to, if we even want to think about the playoffs, we can't lose to the Panthers. If we lose to the Panthers, There's no need to even think about the playoffs because you just lost to the Panthers. If you lose to the Panthers, there's no way you're going to do anything else on the rest of the schedule. We beat the Panthers. Not only did we beat the Panthers, we beat the Panthers. What's the word I'm looking for? Handedly. I know that's not a word. I can't think of the word I'm looking for. Basically, I don't want to say we beat the Panthers at ease, but we manhandled the Panthers, basically, is what I'm trying to say. We were in control of that whole game the whole time. We took the lead. We never gave back the lead. Offense took control of that game. And then when offense dropped off, defense took control of the game. So the whole game, we were in control, the whole game. So not only did we beat the Panthers, but it was just like the game looked like we're a better team than you. Either you can't stop our offense or you can't score on our defense. Either one, it looked like it. In the beginning, you can't stop our offense. And then towards the end of the game, you just can't move the ball on our defense. You can't do nothing to our defense. So we, hands down, just took control of that game, and we won the game. We were the better team, and it looked like it. We were the better team. This gave me confidence to say, okay, we can make a run. I wasn't 100% confident in my defense yet. We had the 49ers game, once again, another game where we took control, and we took over the game. A lot of people didn't believe nothing, including myself. I didn't want to believe nothing because it was the 49ers. It is what it is. I said, I understand why a lot of people don't want to say nothing about this 49ers game because it's the 49ers, but it's about the way we won that gave me a little hope. It was the way we won. It wasn't that we just beat them. It was that offense did their thing, defense did their thing, special teams did their thing. If we play like that in all three facets of the game, we're going to be hard to beat. Can we consistently do that? That's one thing. Can we continue? I completely believe in special teams. I completely believe in Santos. I believe that's what it is. I'm not saying he's not going to miss no kicks, but we're not going to struggle where it's like, oh my God, he missed another one. I'm completely have faith in my special teams right now. As far as we making the field goals we need to make and the extra points, I completely believe in that part of the game. So we can move that out the way. I completely believe in the special teams. Offense. I completely believe in offense. No matter what, my team scores at least 24 to 27 points every game, at least. We had 2 games where we didn't score those points. Both of them had to do with Fitzpatrick. The Chicago game, where we scored 10 points, and the only reason why it was 10 points was because Jameis came in at the end and got us a touchdown. And the Redskins game, where we only scored 3 points. Once again, Fitzpatrick only got us 3 points. Even the Giants game, Fitzpatrick only got us 7 points. It wasn't until Jameis Winston came in the fourth quarter and racked off 4 touchdowns. So basically what I'm saying is our offense is what our offense is. Our offense is the number 1 offense in the league. We have the most yards in the NFL, offensive yards. We are the number 1 passing team in the league. And we always score from 24 to 27 points, always. So I believe in my offense. I believe that that's who we are. Obviously, that's been the one consistent thing through this whole year, from week 1 all the way till now. It's been the one consistent thing. Every team has a hiccup here and there, like the Saints had the hiccup against the Cowboys. They only scored 10 points, I think. Every team has a hiccup where, okay, we didn't look like that. So, but constantly we score 24 to 27 points every week. So I completely believe in our offense. We are going to score 24 to 27 points. That's just what we do. So I believe our offense, whether it's Fitzpatrick, whether it's Jameis, especially if it's Jameis. So I believe in our offense. Put that to the side. Defense. Do we believe in our defense? That has been the issue. That has been why I've been hesitant to say, I don't know if we're going to make this playoff push. I don't know. Once again, we had the 49ers. So what? We looked good defensively. So what? It was the 49ers. Can't take nothing away from that. What I did take away from the 49ers game, though, two things. One, we played a lot of man. We played a lot of man in that 49er game, and I keep saying it. I've been saying it since week 2, to be honest. Week 2, matter of fact, week 1, because of the Saints game. I kept saying it. Week 1 all the way. Let's just stay in man. Switch it up with zone every once in a while, but stay in man. They can't. It's so much harder for these teams to throw on us when we just play man to man. When we just play man to man, our corners are not that bad. Whether it's been our rookies, whether it's been our veterans, every corner that we've had has played good man to man. What have we been seeing in training camp? All in training camp, we've been seeing what? Our corners making plays, playing man to man. All of our corners are stopping our wide receivers, and our wide receivers ain't no joke. They're used to route running with Chris Godwin and route running with Mike Evans. They're used to speed with Deshaun Jackson. Our corners is used to all that type of talent, playing and sticking on a man-to-man. Why are we not playing man-to-man more against these teams? Because none of these other teams have weapons like we do. And if we have our corners playing good against the weapons that we have, why aren't we playing man-to-man against these other teams that don't have the same type of weapons that we have? We should be playing man-to-man a lot more. We look a lot better. We play a lot more tighter coverage man-to-man. We don't get picked apart. Obviously, again, there are times, like the Saints picking apart Carlton Davis, the rookie, with Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is a beast. But even though he was doing that, Drew Brees had to throw some perfect, accurate balls to Michael Thomas. Not only that, they had to set a lot of pick plays on Carlton Davis, all these motions and all these things to try to confuse Carlton Davis or get Carlton Davis out of the play. We are a better man-to-man team. So that's one thing I noticed with the 49ers. We were playing a lot of man-to-man. The second thing I noticed with the 49ers, Kyle Shanahan, who has done more than anybody that we've played against, motioning guys and trying to confuse our team. We looked so much more prepared against the 49ers. We looked so much more prepared. That was my biggest thing. It wasn't the fact that we were sticking on 49ers because, like I said, I don't think 49ers really have weapons. To be 100% honest with you, they do have Kittle, that tight end, and to be 1,000% with you, that dude Pettis is a gangster. I don't know if the 49er fans know yet, but that dude Pettis is a beast. He might not be putting up the numbers yet, but when the 49ers figure out that nigga can route run his ass off, that dude, I've been watching some stuff on that guy. That dude is nasty with his route running. When they figure that out, that dude's season's gonna explode. That dude's season is gonna explode. But anyways, let's continue. The whole thing about that Niner game was Kyle Shanahan tried very hard to confuse our secondary, confuse our linebackers. And we looked like we wasn't confused. And that was huge in my eyes. Now, once again, I didn't want to go full throttle with it because there was just one game. Now let's get to the Panthers game. Another thing was our D-line came on in that 49ers game. Once again, I wasn't like, because it was the 49ers. So I was like, I gave the D-line respect, but I wasn't like, okay. Our D-line has been good all year. But right now, the D-line is in a groove. I've said this before. Our D-line has gotten pressure all year at different teams. Right now, our D-line is in a groove where they're taking over games. There's a difference between your D-line sucking, your D-line not sucking, your D-line being good, which means they're doing their job, and your D-line being in a groove and they're taking over the game. And that's what they did in the San Francisco game, and that's what they did in the Panthers game. Our D-line right now is in a groove where they're taking over the game. Too much pressure where they're wrecking the plays. After the 49ers game, after the Panthers game, is when I said, okay, Duffner has to do with this. Because one, we're still in a lot of man in this Panther game, just like we were in the 49ers game. That's great. Two, we're not looking confused like we did the first time we played the Panthers. Now, if we would have played the Panthers first, I would have said, before the 49ers, I would have said, you know what? It's just we don't look confused because we just finished playing the Panthers, and we just seen everything that they were doing to us the first time. But I know it's not just that, because we also didn't look confused against the 49ers, and that was the first time we played the 49ers. So I know it's not just that. We now know that it is Duffner coaching these players up. We do know now that it is the fact that not only is Duffner coaching these players up, but the fact that we're playing a lot of man. So when you play man, you really don't have to get confused. All you have to say is, I got him, I got him. Look, all right, we're ready. I got him, we're ready. He motions, you follow him. No matter what, all these motions, all these trick stuff, no, it don't matter. You follow him, you stay on him. That's it. That's it. Very simple. Not only are we playing a lot of man, not only are we not looking confused anymore, we look like we know what we're doing. We are blitzing a lot more. Not only are we blitzing a lot more times that we're blitzing, we're actually getting there. This is a testament to our front end communicating and working with the back end. That is the difference. The difference before is our secondary used to guard when we blitzed or whatever, like we're not getting beat. Like we don't want to get beat. Like we have to be cautious. Now when we are blitzing, the secondary is playing like they know that that we're gonna get there. And because we know that they're gonna get there, we play closer. We undercut routes because we know you either got to throw it here or you're going to take the sack. You either got to throw it now or you're going to take the sack. That's how the secondary is playing right now. That's why you had Adam Humphries. That's why you had, if you look at all of Cam Newton's interceptions, what were they? Everything was undercut. From Javian Elliott in the nickel spot, undercut a slant, picked it off. Adams undercut out route. Undercut that. It could have been an out route. It was a route to the sideline, out to the sideline. Undercut that, picked it off. The one in the middle of the field, Adams got. Undercut that, picked it off. The very first pick, Levante David, undercut that route, tipped it back to Andrew Adams. Everything that happened, every pick that we got was an undercut. That is a testimony to the secondary believing that we're going to get there. And if you don't throw it to where I'm going, if I'm going to undercut, because you have to throw it. Because if you don't throw it, you're going to get sacked. That is the testament of the secondary or the back end working with the front end. Our blitz is getting there. That is testimony with the front end working with the linebackers. We still need to get better at it. I still seen some blitzes where the blitzes were going right where the defensive line was, which is stupid. You need to work with the D-line saying, if I'm going to blitz this gap, the defensive end needs to, go wide and create that gap for that linebacker to shoot and hit. There were still some instances where we were messing up on that, but Mentor got a sack, Levante David got a sack, and on those times when they got a sack blitzing those linebackers, it was because they hit the gap, the right gap, and the defensive line did his job to move those guys out the way to create that gap for those linebackers to rush through. These are all good things to see as a defense. So while I'm watching all this, I'm thinking, okay, I'm convinced. The defense, I'm not here to say that we're this top 5 defense. I've said this stat many times already that, since Mark Duffner has taken over, became like top 10 in passing yards and top 5 in third down conversions, and we're number 2 in sacks since we had Mark Duffner take over. All these different stats, which are good. I believe in the stats. I believe in those. I'm not saying that I always believe in those. What I'm saying is right now, like I said, I've said those stats the last, 2 weeks, and I'm like, we'll just see. We'll see. Now I'm to the point, I've seen enough of the defense where I'm like, I believe that that's what we are right now. That's what we are right now. We're playing like that. That's what we are right now. So because of that, I definitely feel like we can go on a run. Now, going on a run and beating the Saints is two different things. The Saints is probably the hardest team. We got two teams that's going to be hard to beat. Two teams is going to be hard to beat right now. The hardest two teams that it's going to be to beat right now is the Saints and the Ravens. We got the Saints, then we got the Ravens, then we got Dallas, and then we got the Falcons. These next two games are going to be the hardest games. One is the number one hardest team to beat right now is going to be the Saints. That's because of their offense. They're going to be able to keep up with us. In fact, we're going to have to keep up with them. That's the Saints score. We're the number one passing offense. We're the number one offense in the league, but they can score. They score more than us. We got to keep up with them. Ravens is two reasons why Ravens is the second hardest team that we're going to have to face. Their defense by far is the best defense we're going to have to face, maybe all year. Maybe all year. That defense is probably the hardest defense that we're going to have to face all year. The second part is we don't know Joe Flacco. We don't know Lamar Jackson. I'm hoping that it's Joe Flacco. Most likely it's going to be Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is gonna pose a lot more of a threat to us because we don't know his what he does. We don't know any of his, how he reacts to different things. We don't know his speed. We don't know the game plan that they're gonna use with Lamar Jackson. We don't know. It's just too new. It's way too new. It's gonna cause a problem. It could be an easy game because of Lamar Jackson, or it could be a hard game because of Lamar Jackson. We have no idea. So that's why it's going to be hard. When I first started talking about these playoffs, I had said that, most likely we're probably going to lose against the Saints. After that, we're going to need a lot of help. And it's still the same. If we lose to the Saints, we're going to need a lot of help. A lot of help. It's most likely not going to happen. If we lose to the Saints, we're probably not going to make. If we lose one game, it's probably like 30% chance that we make the playoffs, maybe less than that. I was expecting to lose to the Saints this week. I didn't expect to lose to the Panthers. I knew it was a great possibility we could lose to the Panthers, but I really felt like we can beat the Panthers. I really did feel like I really felt like it was possible. I knew it was very possible that we could lose to them too, but I knew it was possible we could beat them. I know we can beat them. We should beat them, to be honest. If we play our best game, we should beat them. Now we get to the Saints. Now knowing what I know about the defense, and I already knew about everything else, I feel the exact same way about the Saints. I really think we could beat the Saints. I will tell you why. I don't think this is going to be a high-scoring game again. High-scoring being 30-plus points. It might be at 30, but I don't think it'll be over 30 points. As far as teams together, like I don't think we're going to score more than 30 points. I don't think they're going to score more than 30 points. So that's what I think. I think our defense is the reason why I feel a lot more confident this week about the Saints. It's funny how people are saying that the Cowboys exposed the Saints. It's not true. Cowboys didn't expose the Saints. Maybe to some other teams they did. Gerald McCoy has known how to beat the Saints for I don't know how many years already. It's always been the same thing. Move Drew Brees from his spot, you have a chance to beating the Saints. That's what the Cowboys did. It's all about the D-line. When it comes to the Saints, it's all about the D-line. You hit Drew Brees, you hit Matt Ryan, you hit Drew Brees, you hit Matt Ryan, you move them out of their spots, they're more likely to have a regular game. They're not going to look like especially Drew Brees. Matt Ryan doesn't really look like Hall of Fame type of quarterback when he plays anyways, because it looks like he just gets saved by Julio most of the time anyways. But when you move Matt Ryan, you hit Matt Ryan, move Matt Ryan from his spot, he looks regular, average to even bad sometimes when you do that to Matt Ryan. Drew Brees is the same thing. You hit Drew Brees, you move Drew Brees from the pocket, move him out of his spots, he looks average. Every once in a while, you'll get a game where he looks bad. I think that's what the Cowboys got, was a bad. I mean, they only had 100 and something passing yards. That's a bad Drew Brees. Drew Brees was throwing bad balls. He threw a pick right there, like right to the guy. Like, he had a bad game. That's what you get when you hit Drew Brees, when you give him pressure up the middle, make him move from his spots. You get an average Drew Brees, sometimes even a bad Drew Brees. Cowboys just got a bad Drew Brees. I think we could do the same. I think we can do the same with this D-line. I truly believe we can do the same. I have just as much confidence in this than I did with the Panthers game. Now that I've seen the Panthers game, I truly believe, like I said, right now our D-line is in a groove. Our blitzes are working, and we're playing a lot of man. I truly believe we can disrupt Drew Brees, push him away from his spot, even sack him a few times with this D-line that's in the groove right now. And because of that, I think we will get an average Drew Brees. Because of this, I think that we can outscore, once again, the Saints. I think we could do exactly what we just did to the Panthers. Maybe not get 4 turnovers and make Drew Brees look bad like that. I doubt we do that. But as far as stopping them offensively, us taking the lead and staying in the lead once again, I think we can do that. I really think we can do that. The difference between the Panthers and the Saints is quarterback and weapons. The weapons are better. Their quarterback is way better than the Panthers. But it's less trickery. It's less trickery, and it's easier pressure. With Cam Newton, you keep him in the pocket. He's not like you can keep you don't even have to move Cam Newton. As long as you keep him in the pocket, he can have bad games all by himself because of his accuracy. With Drew, but the thing with Cam Newton is, if you get pressure on Cam Newton, he can still make something because he can get out of the pocket. He's hard to bring down. Just because you got pressure on him doesn't mean you have him, because you can have a hand on Cam Newton. He could still break out of it. He could still make a play. That's the problem with Cam Newton. That's their benefits. That's what they get from having a Cam Newton back there. With Drew Brees can pick you apart. The downfall with Drew Brees is if you start getting pressure, if you start moving him, if you start hitting him, you're going to hit him. If you get pressure, you get pressure. If they have a game where it's like, okay, we're getting pressure on Drew Brees, it's a problem. It is a problem for them because Drew Brees is not going to be able to roll out, get out the way. Drew Brees is not going to be able to shish off what's his name? Carl Nassib 2 times. Carl Nassib should have had 3 sacks in that game against Carolina. I mean, I'm talking about Carl Nassib literally has both his hands on Cam Newton, and Cam Newton shakes him off, runs around, does something, and throws the ball, gets a first down. Drew Brees can't do that. Cam Newton, we should have had at least 4, 5 more sacks. We had 4 sacks on Cam Newton. We should have had at least 4 more. 2 or 3 of them should have been with Carl Nassib. There was one where Vita Vea had this dude, and Vita Vea had one hand on him. You can't just have one hand on Cam Newton. You're not taking him down like that. Cam Newton pushes him off, gets out of the pocket, does what he does. Drew Brees can't do that. So we should be able to sack Drew Brees more. It will be a little bit harder because I think they have better O-line than the Panthers. But we already seen in week 1 that we can get through that O-line. That O-line's not going to stop us. We will get through on that O-line. We already seen week 1. And not only that, but this D-line is playing a whole lot better. Like I said, we are in the groove. We are in a groove right now defensively in that D-line. So they'll be even better than the first time we played them. So I do expect us to sack Drew Brees a few times. I do expect our D-line, once again, like they've done in the last 2 games, to take over that game and stop single-handedly that defensive line, stop Drew Brees a few times. If we do that and we stay in our A game like we have all year offensively, we win this game. We win this game. If we win this game, the doors open completely. Right now, the door's cracked for us in the playoffs. If we win this game, the door opens completely. Because not only does it open up for the wild card spot, it opens up for the division. No, not really. Not necessarily for the division. Because we will be, what, 6? They'll still be at 10. For us to win the division, we'd have to win out, and they'd have to lose the rest of the games. Which is not impossible because the Saints got the Panthers twice. What if the Panthers beat them twice? I don't know. Long story short is, we really control our own destiny. I said this before. When it comes to the playoffs, we control our own destiny. If we can win out, we're in. If we win out, there's no doubt in my mind, 100%. If we win out, there's 100% we're in the playoffs. Because there's no way all these other teams are going to win out. And here's the difference. A lot of other people say this. Other people say this. Why do you think your team's the one that's going to win out and all the other teams can't win out? Because our team is different than the rest of the team. The Redskins, why don't I think the Redskins, why can't the Redskins be the team to win out? Besides the fact they're on a losing streak right now, they're hurt completely. Why can't the Eagles win out? Because the fact that, well, they're not on a losing streak because they just beat the Redskins. The reason why the Eagles can't win out is because I don't think the Eagles have been consistently average. The Eagles have been consistently average. When has the Eagles really played a team and had that trademark win? When has the Eagles played a team and have that trademark win? They've been consistently average. So they haven't shown any like surge of like, oh, okay, if the Eagles continue to play like this, then they can win out. They haven't shown that. They beat a hurt Redskins team. They beat the Giants, who they should have lost to the Giants if they just kept running the ball. The Eagles hasn't looked like that team. They've just looked like, okay, you beat that team. You got by this team. You beat that team. Who else? The Vikings. The Vikings, once again, another losing streak. Haven't consistently been that team. They were in the beginning. They died out. Panthers. We just beat the Panthers. They're on a 4-game losing streak. We're the only team right now that's hot at the right moment. Even if you was to say that it's a fluke, you're just hot right now. Okay, out of all those teams, we're the only team that's hot right now at the right moment. Period. We just got a huge win by the Panthers. We already beat the Saints, and our defense wasn't good. We can do this. We definitely can do this. I would love to just run the table, to be honest. There's a part of me that's like, you know, if we get a loss, it's okay, because I think a lot of those other teams are going to get 2-3 losses anyways. If we get a loss, it's okay. You'll be all right, blah, blah, blah. I'd rather just win out. Take it game at a time. win out. Right now, we have the New Orleans Saints. I really believe we can win the Saints. I really believe we can win the Saints. Let me get to the score, my prediction, and then I'm gonna read the comments and we'll end this. My predictions is I'm gonna go with you know what? I'm gonna go with this. I'm gonna go with 30. I'm gonna go with 30 points. Bucks have 30 points. I think we get the most that we can get. I think we get 30 points. I'm going to say 30 points to 27. 30 to 27. 30 to 27. A part of me is saying 30 to 23. Bucks. That's what I'm saying right now. Let's get to some of these comments. '49ers are trash. What are you talking about? The way y'all beat them. I already explained that. Defense is going to decide it, especially on the road. JPP, the real talk, you never right. You don't know. I was right at week 1, I guess, right? Mazement 717. Yeah, I know. You said the same thing week 1, JP. You said the same thing week 1, and I was right. You were wrong. Mazement 717 says, I keep saying the reason why we didn't get picks is because the coverage wasn't tight enough. There isn't a lot of quarterbacks in the league who are that accurate. So if you shrink windows, you can get hands on balls. Facts. And the fact that they're getting a lot of the D-line is getting a lot of pressure. A lot there. We've been hitting the quarterback like almost every other play. We've been hitting the quarterback, starting with the 49ers. We've been hitting the quarterback every time they drop back. Almost, it seems like. That definitely helps too. RCE fam says Drew Brees ain't good when you put pressure on him. Look at what the Cowboys did. Exactly. RCE fam says now if we can't get to Brees, he's going to have a day. Exactly. But we know this. We know this. RCE says or keep him off the field and have more time of possession, which is something that Jameis does and I love, which is another reason why I really have confidence in this game. I really believe, and I don't have confidence that I'm like, there's no doubt in my mind we're going to win this game. That's not what I mean by confidence. What I mean is I really think that we have a really good shot. I think we have, honestly, my team, the way my team is playing right now compared to the way the Saints team is playing right now, my team is the better team. I feel like my team has a better shot at winning than that team does. Period. Period. I think we match up with that team very well. I think defensively we match up with their offense, and their defense cannot match up with our offense. I really think we are just a bad matchup for that team. We beat them week 17 when they tried their heart out to beat us, and we didn't have O.J. Howard. We didn't have Deshaun Jackson, just like right now. We beat them week 1. We're just a bad matchup for them. It's hard for them to beat us. RCE says Saints are Drew Brees. That's the only man I fear on their team. Of course, that's everybody though. Everybody knows it's Drew Brees. Ryan Hallrung says could be like the Giants when they beat New England. I don't know about I don't. That was that was different. That I think low key, even though the people are gonna laugh right now. And only because of what the Saints have been doing all season. I said this in the offseason, and I wasn't lying. This division is between the Saints and the Bucks. Think about this. If it wasn't for the stupid quarterback controversy that we had, we would easily not only be in the wild card spot ahead of everybody right now, we would be in contention for the division right now. If it wasn't for us having to see if Fitzpatrick is better than Jameis Winston and Fitzpatrick playing the Giants game, Fitzpatrick playing the damn Redskins game, we would have 2 more wins right now. We'd be 7 and whatever, and 7 and 5. We'd be 7 and 5 right now. And we'd be 3 games behind the Saints, which we win this game, we'd be 2 games behind the Saints. We'd be 8 and 5. they would be 10 and something, and the Saints still got to play the Panthers twice, and somebody else. I don't know who else. But we would be talking about maybe we could have a chance at winning the division still. If we didn't go through that stupid quarterback controversy stuff. If Fitzpatrick just played his 3 games or 4 games and we didn't put that pressure on Jameis, we would have won the Bengals game. Or, yeah, we would have won the Bengals game. We would have won, this season would have been so different. And everything would have been exactly what I said. But because we had to go through that quarterback controversy, we had to take a few more losses to realize that Fitzpatrick's not the guy and Jameis is our guy. Jameis had to watch Fitzpatrick lose so he can get his confidence back. You know what I'm saying? Like, because of all that, we're in the spot we're in right now. But we're still the team that I said we could be. We're still the team that I thought we are. And we're that team right now. So you could throw away all that stuff that we did and, besides the defense, no matter what was going to be what the defense was. And I think our defense was barely right now going to be good and not, you know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. Defensively wise, we're finally where we need to be defensively wise. Anyways, what I'm trying to say is we're finally where we need to be. We're there. And this team that we are right now is a team that gives me the confidence that we could go beat. We could beat the Saints. We can beat the Ravens. We can outscore. We should be able to outscore the Ravens if, depending on what I don't know what the Ravens is looking like offensively with Lamar Jackson. Cowboys we'll outscore the Cowboys. That won't be a problem. And the Falcons could be a team that could beat us because it's a divisional game. But honestly, they just feel like a team that's just going to get punched in the mouth and just lay down right now. They just seem like that team right now because of the way their season's going. They just seem like that team that's getting punched in the mouth by everybody and they're just laying down after that. And that's it. So they don't seem like a threat right now. But that's how I look at it right now. That's how I look at what's happening right now. Matter of fact, Steelers. The Saints have to play the Steelers. So the Saints have to play Panthers twice, and they have to play the Steelers and us. That's the 4 games. Us, Panthers, Steelers, then the Panthers again. That's who the Saints have to play. You're telling me the Saints could not lose all those games? I'm pretty sure they can beat the Panthers, but it is a divisional game. It could happen. You never know. It could happen. We'll see. But anyways, like I said, right now, 1 game at a time, man. The first game is the Saints. I do think we can beat the Saints, man. And this is a huge game, man. This is a huge game. This is a big game. I've said this before, Buck fans. I really said it, and I'll say it again. Really, forget about can we make the playoffs. We're in the playoffs right now. We're in the playoffs right now. Lose 1, we go home. Plain and simple. Lose 1, we go home. We're in the playoffs right now. Right now. The playoff run has already started. Right now. Let's see what happens, guys. Let's see what happens. Seattle Seahawks 5668 says Bucks in Seattle next season. I hear you. Seattle, we need you to do your job and beat the Vikings. So you do that for us, please. Yeah, we can do this, man. Shaman RTP, Skull Gang in the building. I really wanted to make this video. I've been waiting to make this video. I didn't want to make this video because I really don't want to talk playoffs. I really don't. But after that Panthers game, I feel like let's go ahead and talk it. Just so we know. Just so we know. Just so we know. Just so we know. And it's definitely, I seen in the beginning, Simon says, James is scared of David Irving and Ryan Fitzpatrick ain't shit. This is funny. I don't know why he would bring that up. ENT says, I know you don't think the Yucks are going to make the playoffs. Simon says, yeah, he does. This is RTP. I know very well. I see that people are talking like it's crazy to believe that we're gonna make the playoffs. I don't understand why. Is it crazy to believe? So that's like saying that that the Cowboys have the division wrapped up already. Do you truly believe the Cowboys have the division wrapped up already? They should, but they're only how many games in front of the Eagles? It's 4 games, man. There's 4 games. 4 games is a lot of games to only be behind 1. To be behind by 1 game, 4 games is a lot. It's very possible to take over if there's 4 games and you're only behind 1 game. We're 1 game behind the wild card spot. We beat we split with the Panthers, and we beat the Eagles, so we'll owe the tiebreaker with that. I'm just saying it's very possible. We just got to handle business. You got a shout out from a Ravens YouTuber. He mentioned you in his video when he kept saying that Flacco was going to Tampa. I'm like, whatever, LOL. I don't know what Raven vidmaker was that. Is it the one with those 2 guys? Yeah, I seen the scenario. So you're saying Bucks have to win out. Panthers, Seattle, Redskins, Vikings have to lose 2 games. Packers and Falcons have to lose 1 game. Packers and Falcons don't have to lose anything. Packers and Falcons, you might have your stuff mixed up. Packers and Falcons don't have to lose anything. We're ahead of the Packers and the Falcons. We got the tiebreaker with the Eagles. The Panthers are done, bro. The Panthers are not gonna. The Panthers, I'm not even worried about the Panthers. If we win out, Panthers are not gonna make it. Seattle's gonna make it. The Redskins are not gonna make it. They're too hurt. And the Vikings are the only other team that can make it. And Seattle plays the Vikings this week coming up. Seattle plays the Vikings this week coming up. So if Vikings win, that means Seattle loses, and that just brings Seattle down from going to the wild card spot. So no matter what, if we win out, we are in. It's pretty much that's it. That's the only scenario is we control our own destiny. If we win out, we win. That's it. That's it. Mathematically, we don't control our own destiny. What I'm saying is if we win out, there's no way in hell any of those other teams is going to win out. No other team is going to win out. That's all I'm saying. So if we win out, we will be ahead. Plain and simple. Yes, Seattle can lose 2 games and still make it. But I don't want you guys to lose 2 games and still make it. I just need you guys to win out. You guys win out, handle your business, or at least beat the Vikings. That's all I care about. Just beat the Vikings. Beat the Vikings, and that's it. I agree. We need Dallas to win the East. We need Dallas to win the East. We need Dallas to win out as well, except for us. We got to beat the Dallas and let Dallas beat everybody else. We will see. Like I said, man, it's 1 game at a time. This weekend is a huge weekend. This weekend that just passed was a huge weekend. This weekend that just passed was a huge weekend, and it went the way that we needed it to go. So I looked at everybody's schedule, and it just favored us. It just favored us. If we take care of business, everybody else's schedule favors us. Like, it'll help us. Like, we'll see what happens, man. Sure, man. Real Talk Perez, man. I appreciate you guys being on here, talking playoffs with me. You know what's funny that we'll save that for. I was gonna say something about a couple of Buck fans, but I'll save that for another video. Right now, I just wanted to be about this team, what we're doing right now, how we're moving right now, how the playoff picture looks right now. We are in the hunt. We are in the picture right there. It says in the hunt, and it's because we have a legitimate shot. We're only 1 game away. 1 game away. Shaman RTP, Skull Gang in the building. When they say real talk, don't forget the Perez.